know what? I had the microphone muted. Jesus. Y'all couldn't hear anything I was saying. I was just a talking. Ah. Take two. Hey, everybody, it's me, Derek, the chocolate botanist, and I had the microphone muted for whatever dumb reason. And I'm just sifting soil. I got a class on Tuesday at North Carolina State University for the students to be able to, talk over my experiences, my life, getting into plants and, trying to stick beside it. And I wanted to sift out this beautiful soil here that is being helped to be made by this thing here. You see what this is? The mighty earthworm, right? Now, these wigglers I got through like vendors and everything else. Make sure y'all are liking and sharing this, by the way, telling your friends. But this soil I've gotten through like vendors who I've bought it from before, earthworms from before. This soil is just old soil that I keep. I just recycle soil. I don't throw away like this black gold here. Like, you see how gold this is? You see how golden this is? I'm not going to throw this away. But I basically just sift it out. And this stuff goes back into the pot. And I just keep going. And I'm just getting some soil here to show them what's up. I feed my little earthwormy babies all types of stuff. Hey, everybody joining. I feed my earthwormy babies all types of stuff. And then they just poop out this soil. They just run through it. And it just looks gorgeous. And what I do is when I bag up soil to give it away, I always go through to make sure I can capture and recapture all the earthworms I have. So that way I don't just give away my little friends, my little family. So ask questions while y'all are here. If you want to, you can just sit and watch me sift soil. This is going to be kind of a demo that I'm going to do to show that I can do what I want to do. And I'm just putting this in here. And you can see the earthworms are so happy. And what I've learned about earthworms, what I learned about these babies here is, if I just leave them the ham sandwich alone, they will be okay. When I try to like actually tend to them, like the Tamagotchi I used to have, things just go downhill real fast. Let's see what these comments are saying. We have somebody saying, hey there. Hey there, home madman. I don't know who is this? Who is this? Is this Nick? I can't see your face. Oh, I don't know who that is. Never mind. I thought I knew who you were. Oh, we got 20 people watching on the YouTube. My God, look at that. But I'm here sifting soil. And again, I'm just saving my little worms because they here and they don't want to do nothing but just, live a simple life and eat. I'm just going to shake and sift and go from there. Y'all can ask any questions you want. This is a little like soil setup I have in my apartment, and it is really easy to do. It is so easy to do. I just put them in a giant container with the soil. I make sure it's moist. I feed them every so often. And then when I sift it, and every so often is like, I try to do it every 6 months, a little something here and there. Make sure they have some grit. And I just go through the soil and I get these big chunks out. So that way I don't leave these in. I don't want these to go into my soil mixes. And these earthworms here, I just pick them out to make sure that they're good. Ooh, that was an explosion. But what are y'all up to today? What are y'all up to on today? What are y'all doing today? And again, we got earthworms. Boom, there we go. Look at this. And I'm just going to fill this container up because I already have some soil that, I feel like that was something, never mind. There we go, earthworm, haha. I already have some soil that I have mixed up for the little cheering. It's funny I'm saying that. I used to be a cheering. It didn't feel like that long ago. I used to be a college student at that same university. And now look at me, going back to talk to them. That is wild. But again, these pieces that didn't break down, I'm just going to put them to the side. And I'm just going to try to And I get this halfway full because I'm gonna need a good working space to pull from. So, yay! It's excitement. And if y'all got any questions or comments or concerns, this is your time to ask them. I'm not gonna be up here all day. I've already been up here for 6 minutes. I hopefully won't be up here longer than 10 or 20. So ask any question you want. And if you see this in the future, you're watching this in the future, you want to ask me a question, please do so. I'm just getting my earthworms out. And the longer I leave this alone, I just come in and I check it out. Whoops. That bounced right back at me. Good job. I just go from there. Hey, Starbucks, how do you get rid of spider mites in soil? I don't think I've had them in my soils before. So the first thing I would tell you to do would be to look up the right pesticide for a soil drench. Because not every pesticide, things to kill insects and bugs and fungus, not all of them can be used in the same way. So that's the first thing I would tell you. Check out from like your cooperative extension especially. Who can do what? What can this be used for? And the second thing I would say is, considering that it's an insect, right? A soft-bodied insect, I would think of something that would impact them that's a general, like, nix all when it comes to getting rid of bugs. So I would personally get a bottle of 3% peroxide. This is what I would do. 3% peroxide. Hey, Deluscious. That bottle of 3% peroxide, I'd put that down, drench the soil, especially if it's like warm where you are, where you can set your plants outside. Wait a hot 10 minutes and then rinse your soil out. And I would do that. I don't know the life cycle of a spider mite because you want to interrupt the life cycle when you're trying to get rid of things. So I would need to know the life cycle. Like, how often does it take you to go from child, you know, like pushing out a bunch of eggs like splat, to you actually saying, I'm an adult, right? Because then if it's like every 3 days, I may do like every 2 days a drench, you know, or do the drench once a week. So that's what I would do. That's like the best case scenario. The worst case scenario would be I would rinse all the soil off, still do the peroxide, take that soil and chuck it, and then put some more soil on that plant. I'm gonna make sure y'all can see everything. Keep moving everything closer to me. I got this chair in the way. I should have moved it. Hope that helps you. Hey, Pinky Baby. Johnny Berry, Coffee and Chlorophyll. So again, I'm not gonna be here long. I'm just getting a little soil ready because I have a class on Tuesday. And I'm going to talk to the governor, y'all. The governor, Governor Josh Stein, on Wednesday. There's a Black celebration of Black farmers, and I'm invited. And I've not mentioned it because I've been just tired and mentally verklempt. I've been really stuck on that word verklempt for the last several months. Mentally verklempt when it comes to work. So I'm going to go see the governor. Would these be tips? Would these tips apply to various ants? I'm finding in my 65. So here's the thing about ants. Unless you're like one of those people that goes into anaphylactic or it's a fire ant, I don't even worry about ants because typically they are helping you, right? They're going to farm aphids, which doesn't help you, but they are going to be able to support keeping pests out of your garden and your your pots and stuff. But if you were to find fire ants, I would use a granular. There's a couple of granular pesticides you can use specifically for fire ants, and I would use one of those. I can't remember the name of any of them right now, but that is what Derek would do. Now look at this soil. I've had this sitting in a container over here in the corner of my second bedroom. I kind of filled everything back up. I want to say 6 or 7 months ago, and I haven't touched it since. and just leaving it alone, I get this soil that, again, is a mix of things that I've composted in and just old soil that is just chilling out. It's amazing. Any plant recommendations for plants to decorate? Ooh, almost tripped. Any plant recommendations for plants to decorate a cafe or a bakery? Doing some plant shopping soon. Depends on how much light you have. If you have a butt ton of light, like a butt ton, it looks like we're almost halfway full. If we have like a lot of light, I would do, especially if it's a bakery or something that's going to be warm and probably humid, I would do, and this is just me, I would get some orchids and do some bare root orchids where you just have the orchid chilling out, the roots all exposed and everything. And those of you watching on YouTube, you know, you can comment and I can throw it up. So if you have a question, I can do that up there. But that's what I would do. But you could always do the typical like pothos, the epiprenums, the philodendrons, the aglominia, things of that nature that like. But it just depends on how much light you have, so I can't really give you a good answer. Thanks. I have fire ant granules. I wasn't sure if it's okay to use in fruiting tree pots. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's a good thing to mention. When it comes to some of these granulars, read the instructions. Read the instructions and see what they say is the use case, because there are some pesticides you are not to use around fruiting trees. So that is actually a good thing to look into. And that is a good thing to consider. Now, these little grates to like filter this stuff out, I feel like I saw somebody using them somewhere on social media. Oh, this is ceramic. And I love these things. I love these things. And I think this is it. I think this is as much soil as I need. So basically, I have some like old soil that I'm going to use. And when I replenish soil or I refresh soil, just so y'all can kind of see it before I get off of here, this is how it works. So we have, I'm just going to switch containers out here. We have these containers. Oops. We have this container that's right here, right? And this is like my good soil, right? This is stuff that I've, again, had the earthworms go through, and I'm seeing more earthworms. I've had compost and microbes, just all types of good life living in this soil. And what I do next is I'll put some of this in with, like, again, a spent plant, a plant that died. I did not want it to die. It just went up to grow with Jesus. So I would take like this, who knows what was growing in this? I don't remember. And I'm going to dump it out in, right? This is a sandy mix because we know I mix my own soil up. Actually, I don't think I mixed this one because this is very sticky. I think this was something that somebody sent me and my plant ended up going to the upper room. I was like, this thing will never dry out. What is happening? Anywho, I'm just going to kind of mix it together. I'm going to work my hands. And as I'm working my hands, I'm going to get something that is not exactly what it was before, right? Now, this, I'm not going to do this with any soil that's like covered in bugs. I'm not going to do this with any soil that is like going insane with pesticides, with fungus. But I would do this and get something that looks intrinsically different overall, right? Something that just is completely different. Hey, Detroit Plant Mom, how did my patio planter turn out? You missed the video update. So here's the thing. I did a patio planter. It's a gigantic one I got from the Lowe's. I never did an update because I had to bring it inside 2 or so weeks later. So it ended up covering 2 of those wooden planter boxes I had. And I'm going to show you that when I put it back outside. I'm gonna need help throwing it back outside, but I'm not gonna be able to do it until, well, I don't want to do it until the season really stables out, because all of my flowers, I may do a video on that. All of the flowers I have in there have been sprouting, and like they're just growing and just waiting for a trigger to bloom. So boom, we have like soil that's here. Hey, Pink Panther 7881, you thought I wasn't gonna see you come in here. Hey, friend, I hope you're still in here. So yeah, this is mixing up soil. So I just sifted out some soil, and what happens is I just take this soil that's been sifted, and now it's something that I can grow in, right? And as I do it for like different plants, house plants, depending on who I'm giving a house plant to, how they take care of their house plant, what type of house plant it is, I can now make my own custom mixes for often cheaper than you get at the store. And because I'm recycling soil and I'm composting indoors, if I had a yard, man, I would be unstoppable. But I never have to buy soil. And I know people in the industry who just give me stuff. So there's that too. But do y'all have any other questions for me before I hop off of here? We've been up here for 17 minutes. Now that I actually use some of this, I used way more of this than I thought I would. I'm going to actually set this to the side because I am going to repot some plants. I got these, what is that thing called? It was the plant I really wanted and I thought I had, but it wasn't what it was. Plumeria. I got some plumerias that I need to repot, one of them that I've been rooting. So let me fill this up real quick and then we're going to hop off of here. We're going to fill this back up. And again, this is just soil that I have as like a soil factory within my home. And it doesn't take up much space. It's not messy. It doesn't smell. Like it's a balanced ecosystem that I just have to look after by not looking after it. Because sometimes when you touch things too much, they just go wrong. Sometimes you touch things a little too much, just a little too much, and it can be crazy. So I literally let this stuff sit in here for as long as can be. And that way I can, get the best benefit, something that's like soil and that's not this crumbly, still not fully digested and broken down mess for my plant babies. And plus I get to keep these earthworms. And they've been really, because it went from seeing maybe 10 or so to, I'm sure I've seen more than 10 since I've been doing this now. I did some off camera to be able to show the children what's up and what's it gonna be. Pink Panther 7881, how you doing? And the rest of y'all, I don't think I asked y'all, I'm so rude. How are y'all? What y'all doing for Valentine's? That's probably why some of y'all ain't saying nothing. Y'all up there being nasty, ain't you? By the way, this is a bone. This is a chicken bone. Look at that. It's slowly breaking down. This doesn't mean my stuff is full of like calcium, but there's enough in here where it'll feed the microbes. Which, by the way, I've been trying to get better at breaking down all of my bones. I really want to get as close to zero waste in my house as possible. Are there any niche markets in the indoor gardening industry that you think are underrated? Microbes and inoculants. I think a lot of us don't really understand in the gardening industry. And me as a whole plant biologist, it took me some deep diving myself to really get it. So like products that can really benefit your garden, right? So there's one that I have just outside of this door, hopefully. I have one just outside of this door. There we go. That I got from a company called Impello. And this beautiful product is an inoculant they gave me a couple of years ago. And you just use a little bit of it. And while you can use it like continuously throughout your growing season, You don't have to, right? This Arbor, I'm an Arbor ambassador. Go to the link in my bio. Arbor is a phenomenal product that can support your plants, and it has somebody's like beneficial bacteria growing in it, right? I talked to Vanessa, the CEO, that phenomenal woman, and this looks so sexy on camera though. I just have to say, like, look at this. Arbor is just amazing. So these products that help you. Espoma. Espoma is a beautiful company that has beautiful products. And there's one they have that I swear by. It's a microbial inoculant fertilizer, slow release, right? A mycorrhizal rather. And that mycorrhizal helps your plants. How does it help your plants? Because I'm saying all these words and I'm not explaining anything. How does it help your plants? I'm glad you asked. I didn't think you were going to ask me. You can use the microbes, the fungi, to help your plants because they help them to better absorb nutrients. So like all of this soil here has a mass in it, a mass of somebody's nutrient, a mass of somebody's waste from a product or from an animal or from a plant, or, you know, any way you take it, that the plants are waiting to absorb. And when you have something that's rooted, right? Making sure I got all the earthworms. I think I did. When you have something that is rooted, something that is holding on to roots, you have a plant that is looking to take in nutrition. So for example, and then I'm going to jump off of here because I'm going to be done because I've been talking way too long. Way too long. I need a really good rooted plant. I think this will be one. This one right here. This is my Syngonium white butterfly that I got from TNT, right? TNT Plants and Things. And they are out of the, well, I met them at the Atlanta area, right? So these beautiful roots on this plant, and it looks this way because I use it for a lot of props. But these beautiful roots, you see them? They are reaching out for nutrients. And microbes basically help to let the door in. They're like a doorman at a club, letting the nutrients in. Without those microbes, nutrients can still get in, but it is sometimes a little slower. It's not as efficient, right? But when you have these beneficial microbes, beneficial bacteria, like Impello, I think it has Bacillus species in here, right? On the back here, it says Pania. I never was good at pronouncing words good, but you can say this here, right? And again, this company here, you can get good growth. And these products are expensive. They're a little more pricey, but this will last you for years. You and friends go into this. You use like 2 mils for every gallon. How often are you watering your houseplants? How many gallons are you giving your houseplants a year? You and your friends go in and buy Impello. You and some of your friends, this is a concentrate, Arbor, right? Getting into that, I think that's the other thing, just these concentrates that have a lower fertilizer concentrates that have a lower NPK. Because when I first heard of the Arbor, and I found out about them some years ago, and I looked at their bottles, I was like, this is a low blow. Hey, Maple and Maple Flower Co. I was like, this is a low NPK. Why is it so low? I push plants. I use high NPKs, 10, 10, 10, 10, 20, 10, right? I'm going high. NPK is the strength of your fertilizer, right? Nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, and potassium, right? The nutrients, the basic nutrients our plants need to survive, along with other things. But my plants, even though I still mix and match, I now water down fertilizers way more than I used to. So I think the things that are underrated that people don't really be considering when it comes to plants is the microbes. They don't be considering that you can water your plants with these microbes, with these concentrates, with these fertilizers, and end up using less fertilizer overall and still get a phenomenal amount of growth. The people don't be thinking about that. And so those of you just coming in, I have this soil here. This soil is from a soil factory. I kind of took that term from Compost Fairy. I love her. Follow Compost Fairy, please, on the social medias. She is a phenomenal Black woman telling you about compost and all those good things. And while I've been doing this for years, I took that term from her because I'm literally putting old soil into a bin with earthworms and microbes and food scraps that are not greasy and oily unless they were processed by my bokashi first. And I'm able to really just get phenomenal soil and a little happy family of earthworms, because there's earthworms in here. You can't really see them because it's dark, but there's earthworms there. So arbor and impello, right? That is correct. So yeah. So I'm going to leave now. I hope y'all have a beautiful Valentine's Day. If you don't get flowers, I hope that you can come back as a flower, like the Stevie Wonder song says, from The Secret Life of Plants, one of my favorite albums, especially by him. Stevie is phenomenal. And I may go live again on Tuesday night to show this class that I'm doing to talk about soil and stuff. So you may be able to see that. If you missed this, the replay will be up on Instagram and YouTube. Y'all have a beautiful night. Give it up for the plants. Give it up for the beautiful soil, right? Give it up for some beautiful products that you can use to support your plant health, including these two here. Microbial products are phenomenal. Y'all have a phenomenal night. And, don't do anything I wouldn't do, I guess, or do it. I don't know. It's Valentine's Day.